want to start by introducing yourself and telling me a little about
My
yourself?
name is Sophia Kim. I like long walks on the beach. My favorite color is black. No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh.
It's the one and only Digo.
I'm messing with you guys. You're like, wait a minute.
I like
What
black
are you
too,
talking
so
about?
it's okay.
Sorry, I just like to. Okay.
No.
I am an instructor here for the VSW program. I actually graduated from the school with my PhD here.
Okay.
And so my journey as a social worker, we'll get into this shortly. It started off with a more clinical emphasis and interest focus. And then it kind of, through my practice experience, led up to a more macro focus in academia and research, but we can get into that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Why were you interested in being a social worker, and did you go to college knowing that you wanted to go in the social work field?
This is interest focus. And then it kind of, through my practice experience, led up to a more macro focus in academia and research, but we can get into that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Why were you interested in being a social worker, and did you go to college knowing that you wanted to go in the social work field?
That's a good question. So my bachelor's is in psychology, so I knew I was really interested in the clinical aspect, the mind, the body, behavior, the interconnection across. I thought I was going to go into clinical psychology, and so it wasn't actually until my senior year in my undergrad studies when I was talking to my one of my professors. She's a clinical psychologist by trade, awesome professor. This was in UC Riverside in California.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm from,
Cool.
California. And so I had a really interesting conversation with her because at that point you're just trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
When I graduate, I don't really know where I want to go, but I do know I want to work with people. I've been interested in the clinical aspect, but I'm more interested too in these complicated, diverse issues that a lot of folks come into, right? It's not just a simple solution to these problems. And so after hearing me out, she was able to really kind of help me flesh out my interest areas, and she's the one that proposed the idea of going into social work for my master's. And so prior to that, I really didn't know much about social work, honestly. But given the information she shared with me and upon my own personal research, I thought, you know what, this would be a great fit down the line. It touches on the individual work with clients. I get to kind of apply some of my psychology background and knowledge base. And also it allows me to do more kind of community level work, addressing some of the systemic, structural complications, right, that perpetuate some of these problems that our youth or adults are continuing to experience.
Awesome.
So it kind of allows me to spread my wings
Yeah.
across
More
gaps.
broad. Would you say that there was any sort of life experience or background like that you want to be a social worker or influence you to be a social worker?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think a large influence, and I recognize this later in my career, is that my experience in my family system really kind of fueled this interest. I noticed a lot of things that I didn't want to see within my family system. For instance, the way women in particular are treated in my family. To give you an example, we were overtly told that we were second-class citizens in my family, by the men in my family. And so I just remembered as a kid being really pissed off by that. It angered me, and every time I would, show my feelings, they would kind of be like, oh, you didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
You're going overboard, etc. Plastic, right? And so I just remembered, this isn't right. I've witnessed women in my family being abused, and just straight up, just unjust behavior. And so I think that's kind of where it stemmed. I knew I wanted to do something to represent the women in my family, but also to call out on some of these bullshit,
Yeah,
right?
very
I don't know
smart.
how to explain it, but
Yeah.
to call out on some of these unjust behaviors and actions that not only my women in my family, but you can imagine,
Oh, yeah.
like that goes on.
Everywhere.
And so that's kind of where it stemmed, and it wasn't until I was practicing the field, and a lot of my work has suicidality, substance abuse issues, um, gang violence, things like that. And so that kind of all led up to
Led up to it.
where I'm
Awesome. Cool. I'm kind of the same way. I'm interested in the same areas that we're working in. So nice to hear. Okay. What does your typical day look like as a social worker?
Oh my gosh, every day was so different.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it too.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what I
it's
love.
like you can kind of go in forecasting what you think the day's gonna look like, but when you're there, you just never know what can happen. You know, and sometimes it's on one end of the spectrum where there might be a crisis situation
Yeah.
that requires immediate response, or sometimes it's just a little bit more quiet and it allows you to kind of do more processing and planning for your caseload, right? With your clients and your caseload. What I really like about my work again is that I already know social workers, we wear various hats out in the field.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so exciting and spontaneous
I agree.
in a way. you know. So even when I had my certain caseload and I would, have my meetings with them, the other time was really kind of spent doing the admin type of work that's required for delivering the program itself. So you get to hit all aspects if you're lucky.
Yeah,
Right.
love that.
Across the system. So
Okay.
for me, that was what was exciting. And it was because of my project work that kind of led me to this journey, acquiring a PhD to do more of the research aspect.
It takes a special kind of person to be a social worker, dealing with serious situations that others might not feel comfortable dealing with. How do you cope with some of the stressors in your career that are presented on a daily basis and balance this with your personal life?
Such a good question.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that everybody, like providers especially, we need to ongoingly assess and reassess for ourselves. So that's one of the key kind of tasks that we employ right with our clients is we're constantly assessing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't end, right? And it's true for ourselves too. Like we have to remain aware, right, of our own kind of triggers, our own what we do to take care of us. Because if we're not well, it's going to impact the relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, so for me, it's ongoing, but I know what works for me at least is I need to connect with nature, Mother Earth. I need to cruise with her. And
Yeah.
I need to hit up the mountains. I need to get
Yeah.
away from the chaos
Yeah.
of, kind of the city life.
Oh, I bet.
I just need to kind of reconnect with nature, and I noticed for me personally that that's the only time when my mind isn't speaking loudly.
Yeah.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
It's calm and it's peaceful.
There's probably a lot going on all the time.
Totally,
I can
right?
only imagine.
Something where you can kind of achieve that sense of balance, even
Yeah.
if it's just for a minute, 5 minutes,
Yeah.
right? You deserve it, right?
Exactly.
And so nature, jogging. Katie also knows I get 2 rabbits, and they are awesome.
Okay.
And I can brag about them all day. I can talk about them all day. She knows. And so I get 2 rabbits, and a lot of my time is just really kind of sitting in solace with them.
That's
And
cute.
I think pets are very therapeutic.
Yeah, for sure.
Family, right?
100%. I agree.
So yeah.
What is the most rewarding part about your job, and do you have a favorite experience that you've had?
I think it's just another indicator of how sometimes we underestimate our own impacts, right? And how we can add and contribute to someone's life, even if it's just merely sitting in silence with someone.
Yeah.
What that can do, right? The impacts. And I think sometimes it gets dismissed, it gets underestimated a little bit. But I've had actually a couple of clients where, and this was earlier in my career, when I always used to ponder and question, like, am I having any impact at all?
Yeah.
Are they gaining anything, or am I making it worse? Oh no, right?
True, yeah.
And, sometimes you don't always get that verbal kind of feedback. But I think they have a way of sharing with you that you're doing something good enough, right? In other ways, other expressions. It may not always be yes, explicitly. Austin, you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
I love this time of year, right?
Yeah.
They show it in other ways, and if you kind of are in tune, you pick up on it, and okay, this is awesome. The rapport is good, it's established, and individuals left having faith in,
Yeah.
believing that there is someone who truly does care.
Yeah, and you get to see that like firsthand, like right in front of you. It might not be like vocalized or shown. But yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, this is the last one. Do you have any advice for social work students like me that you wish you would have had where I'm at right now? It's what I've been waiting for.
I would say, I mean, there's no kind of like, like that one answer magic solution, right? But I think it's always just important to just be honest and real with yourself, right? I think that's first and foremost. Sometimes I think what we think about and just kind of like how we're processing things, sometimes there can be this internal conflict, right? Where it doesn't fit so neatly, and then we start questioning why am I doing this? What are the reasons? What's the purpose? What am I achieving? What am I gaining? And I think that's normal. Sometimes these conflictions are going to come up, but it's important to not lose sight of you and where all of this came from, right? Why are you? What brings you to this field? I can't imagine for a lot of folks in social work, and this is what I honestly love about it. I think for many, it just really holds true that we didn't come into this field by accident. It wasn't an accident. And I think just being in tune with, what social work means for you, why you're doing it, and just honoring it for what it is, right? I think that's really important. And just allowing yourself the time to honestly reflect. Constantly. Constantly. I think it's good for the soul, first and foremost, but I think it's just good for personal and professional growth. Any stress and professional growth. In order to, kind of check our calendar,
For sure.
just be honest with yourself, and ask yourself honestly, what is it that brings you, what draws you to this field? Journal it, write it out. Sometimes having something tangible is nice. I do that a lot. I'm a big journaler.
And you start doing that.
And it's always kind of fun to, even as you're reflecting on certain pieces, to kind of revisit those pages, to look back and see again what that draws for you. It's always fascinating, personally for me. But I would just say just allowing the necessary reflection as needed for you, and know that it's okay if sometimes things don't fit nicely and neatly, that things can conflict, but that's more of a reason for us to kind of take a step back, know what works for you, your self-care strategies, right? You got to know. And then allowing yourself that space and time to recalibrate.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely needed to hear that. That's for sure. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Thank you for making time to come do this. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed all your answers.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah,
Pleasure
it was nice
meeting
you. Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you, and good luck with the rest of the semester.
Thank you so much. Okay, so it's a day later. I really had a good time interviewing Sophia. I felt like she answered my questions very, very well and very thoroughly and really insightful. It helped me a lot, and I think I'm going to use it from this point forward with my social work career. And I think her advice actually really helped and answered a lot of my questions. And also we had like the same kind of sense of humor, which I really enjoyed. And it was like a very nice interaction. I really appreciated that she made time out of her like schedule to come do this interview with me in the first place. And yeah, I thought she was really amazing. She was really funny, and I really, really enjoyed it overall. Also, I feel like it was more of a conversation rather than like an interview, which I found really nice, easygoing, and I feel like that made it just a little bit better. It wasn't like forced, and yeah, she was really helpful, and I'm really glad that you, Katie, set me up with her, even though it was last minute. And I'm sorry about the audio as well. I thought outside would be a good idea, but clearly it just wasn't, just in terms of the sound. But yeah, overall, good experience.